friends, we are making gingerbread cookies today. We have got our recipe, and on here it says what we need. We have to have our materials, which is this recipe chart, our ingredients, which are listed here. We'll read those in a minute. Liquid measuring cup. I have these. Those are measuring cups. And spoons. I have a big stirring spoon right here. 2 large mixing bowls. Got that. Cookie sheet. I have that underneath my stove in the drawer. A rolling pin. Cookie cutters. Got my gingerbread man cookie cutter right here. We need large mixing spoon. And parchment paper, which I have. That's for when the cookies come out of the oven. You cool them on the parchment paper. Now it says here we need butter. This is the amount of butter we need, which is 1/4 cup. If you count off here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it says right on the butter that 4 tablespoons equals 1/2 cup. So that's what we need. I mean 1/4 cup, not a half, 1/4 cup. We need 1/2 cup of brown sugar, which I have my brown sugar here. We have 1/2 cup of dark molasses. We have dark molasses here. 3 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got my canister in the kitchen of flour. Teaspoon of baking soda. Have a box of baking soda. Need 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Have a bottle of ground cloves here. Also need 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Have my container of cinnamon here. Also a teaspoon of ginger. Have my container of ginger here. Then we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Have a container of salt. Water we can just get from the tap, and we need 1/4 cup of that. So let's bake here. I already preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Now that's what we need to cook the cookies at, or bake the cookies at 350. What's nice, a lot of ovens, when you turn them on, they automatically preheat at 350 degrees. So I already started with some of the things, so the video won't be too long. So I melted the butter, not melted but softened, 1/2 stick of butter in the microwave, and then I mixed that with brown sugar with a large spoon, and I added the molasses. Again, that was 1/2 cup of the dark molasses, 1/2 cup of the brown sugar, and mixed it together. Now it says in a separate bowl, mix the dry ingredients and slowly add to the wet mix. Because this mix, I don't want to get too close, I don't want to dump it on my computer, but it's definitely wet. Because butter mixed in with brown sugar and molasses, it's wet and it's sticky. So let's get another bowl out. Okay, got another mixing bowl. And we're going to mix the dry stuff. 3 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. Best way to do that is get our big, put the butter back so it doesn't melt. Get our big measuring cup. This is a 4-cup measuring cup. And we can measure all 3 1/2 cups in that one. So, I'm going to get a small spoon. Actually, one about that size. And start measuring out my flour. And we need to get it to, this is 3 cups right here. That's 4. We needed to get it right in there. That dotted line there is 3.5. So we keep filling it. We know 3.5 is almost to the top. So we keep putting in flour. And what we do is we shake it out till it all settles flat. Not quite to 3 cups yet, so we keep filling, keep adding. Almost there. See, it's almost to that dotted line. Be careful with flour because it's really dusty and it's messy if you drop it. Okay, we're just a little over the line, so we better take a little bit more out. Take out a teaspoon, shake it out. Now we're just about there. So we put it in our dry bowl. Let's see what we have to do next. Let's put our spoon in the sink, put the top on the flour, put it back, and check our recipe. It says teaspoon of baking soda. Now these, I love these little things because you can measure anything from a teaspoon to 1/8 of a teaspoon with this one little spoon. If you want a teaspoon, you slide it to that line that says teaspoon, and you can use the whole thing like this. So we're going to dig in there, flatten it out, and we've got 1 whole teaspoon. That can go back in the cupboard. We also need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. I'm going to move this to 1/4 teaspoon. See, it says 1/4. That's a 1/4. We get a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Now this says ground cloves. I haven't used this yet, so I need to pull the top off. Put our little measuring thing in there, shake it out. There is 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Then 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So we're going to move the little thing from a 1/4 to a 1/2. And then we're going to get our cinnamon. Cinnamon is really good. Cinnamon flavored things can be a little spicy, but it's also really healthy too. I was reading that cinnamon, even if you have some every day, say put it in your coffee when you're brewing it. Parents or grandparents drink coffee, put a little cinnamon in there. Make it really healthy. Cinnamon, whole teaspoon of ginger. So instead of 1/2, we're going to move it to whole. Now I'll get out our ginger. Haven't used this one either, so I need to pull off the top. Now I'm going to do this so I don't get this recipe a mess. I'm going to get a paper towel, set it on the counter. Now try to get a whole teaspoon of ginger. I don't want to get too much. Okay, got our whole teaspoon of ginger. Now we put our top on, You don't have as much to put away if you put things away as you use them. Put cinnamon away, put the cloves away, put the ginger away, because we already used all that. And my little thing can go in the dishwasher. Now, oh, we need to do a ½ teaspoon of salt. Which is okay because it's right here. Now, let's pour in some salt. That's about a ½ teaspoon. Throw that in the dry mix. And we also need a 1/4 cup of water. So this now can go in the dishwasher. Let's get our last clean one. We need a 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup is all the way at the bottom. This is 1 cup, 3/4 cup. It's that line, then a ½ cup, and the smallest is a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to put this under the tap. And best thing to do is set it on a table till it stands still. And you can see that it's settled right at a 1/4 cup. Okay, now, we don't pour the water yet. It says here, in a separate bowl, mix the dry ingredients and slowly add to the wet mix. So, here's our wet mix. That's a sticky molasses and brown sugar. I'm going to stir up this dry mix so it all blends. Just take a spoon, mix it all up. So it says slowly, so you kind of have to just add a little bit in and stir it up. Can't dump it all at the same time. You just have to add a little bit at a time and then stir it up. If you add too much, you get flour all over everything, kind of like I just did. Okay, we got a little bit more. Dump that in. Put our bowl in the sink. And we stir. Stir and blend everything together. Got to get the dry stuff well blended in with the wet stuff. Okay, now it's all blended. Now it says add water sparingly until the dough becomes firm. Sparingly means pretty slowly. And I have to tell you, I've never baked gingerbread cookies before. So this is a first. I like to cook not bake. My sister likes to bake and not cook. So now, we're going to mix it all up. Now that you got water in there, it starts to firm up a little. You just got to blend it and blend it and blend it. Make sure all the dry stuff gets firm. Then what you have to do is roll out. I'm going to put a little more water in there. A little dry. Okay, then what you have to do is you take the big ball of gingerbread, clean off your counter, you put firm ball of dough on the counter and roll it out with your rolling pin. I gotta get this nice and wet so I can do that. Now I will do that. I'm going to bake them and I will show you during our 3 o'clock meeting today how they turned out. So I hope that was fun. I hope you got to follow along and make gingerbread cookies. So I will have ours ready and I will show you during our afternoon roundup. See you guys later. Bye.